Guillermo is a old-time friend. Also, he is a Huichol Indian who got me involved with flute playing, and I knew him for about 5 years before I got invited to a flute circle. And after the flute circle was over, he says, "Anybody interested in having a flute lesson for free?" And I went, "Yeah." So I went to it, and the flute lesson was about 5-10 minutes, and he showed us what the scale was. He played it again, and he played it again, and then he turns and holds the flute and says, "Now let the spirit of the flute teach you." I just started playing a pattern, and it started repeating, and it started repeating. And then it expanded and expanded, and it repeated and expanded and expanded, to where it had this whole opening of spirit song, and then what's in the middle is just kind of whatever comes in at the moment. Then it has this significant ending. Very, very, it's very structured. And it stayed with me and it's never gone away. My hands were just moving as I was playing. I just was the wind instrument. And it just literally played through me. And so it's been something, and we've expanded it to we've written keyboard parts to it, and so it's expanded into that.
When we play music, typically what we do is we develop the patch, the soundscape that the synthesizer has, which evokes a certain feeling, a certain mood. It's going to carry people into a certain place. Most of our music is designed to do an inward spiral. Although we do have outward spirals too, but most of it's meant to be an inward spiral, and then you take off from there. If you're going to a heart space, you take off from there. You go into a third eye space, you go up from there. And so the patch and the key that we play in really activates a certain aspect of the human energy system. And so then along with that, a melody typically emerges. It can take the form of something that's more expanded, or it might just be a little riff or something that we can play off of. But then what happens is once we play, we also follow that space, right? I mean, we're following that inward spiral as well. And so when we get to that place, then the music kind of creates itself.
And it's as
it's yes, as the instruments are talking to each other. So we don't have to do a whole lot, and it's interesting because things will happen, or I'll start playing certain things on the keys that I've never played before, but it just comes out because it's tapping into a larger field and a larger resonance, and then that just comes through us and gets channeled and comes into the instrument. The better music that we do, the more we're in that space where we're still connected to our instruments. We can't just journey out completely, and yet you're open, or we're very open to that energy moving through us. So it's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. It's great fun. It's always interesting. It's always interesting to see what happens and what comes out.
It's an interesting dance because I like the aspect of, you know, that you're playing and you know you're not playing simultaneously. So it's a really amazing balance. Not only do we feel it within ourselves, but it gets projected out. And so people are feeling an internal, external reality in a state of balance. And it gets created. We don't do it, and yet we do it. Some of the feedback we get after a concert is, some people say, "This is the deepest I've ever gone on Journey," and it's just like, wow. That's all you can say is wow, and people have these mystical, magical experiences, and when we're doing, depending on what we're doing, if we're doing what we call the dreamscape aspect of it, where we're doing meditative, type things. Our music is non-stop. So there is no play a song, stop, start another song.
Right.
It's we play a song, I stop playing the flute, the keyboard keeps going, creates a transition to the next key without stopping, and then I come on to the next flute. And we transition through a concert like that. So it's a tapestry of energy, because we specifically ask what progression of keys do we want to go through, and we get input, not from us. And that's about the extent of it. We know what the key line is. She knows what the chord progression is from one key to the next, and it's lack of a better word, it's magic.